Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Sean from Retaliation Resale, and I'm doing my weekly series called Bathroom Books. And I call it Bathroom Books because I am in the bathroom and I am talking about 7 books as I do every week. The rest of the house is filled with books, and the bathroom is literally the only space that I have to shoot a video in. So I call it Bathroom Books, and I go over 7 books that I find interesting, that are profitable, that have some kind of interesting story that I feel you might find interesting. So for the first book, and this is a book I'll probably do a short about, but it's called Why Men Don't Get Enough Sex and Women Don't Get Enough Love. And I'll just say, men want sex, women want love, and those aren't necessarily the same thing. This book has only sold 9 copies in the last 6 months. It has no value on Amazon FBA, which is where I sell most of my books at. But I found it interesting. I saw this title and I was like, oh, well, yeah, okay. So first book, Why Men Don't Get Enough Sex and Women Don't Get Enough Love. No value on the Amazon market, but an interesting title nonetheless. And I'll talk about this probably during the upcoming week's short. Second book, Clean Eating Cookbook. This one's worth $4.38. So cookbooks can be valuable. Usually the more expensive, like your $40, $50, $60 cookbooks have value. Not sure the price on this one, but also books on trendy topics will be valuable, although they don't always hold their value. So just know that, like the old paleo books, probably not worth as much. Anything on the Food Network, Bobby Flay, Rachel Ray, those books are mass-produced. They're like any other mass-produced book, probably not too valuable. But this one, Clean Eating Cookbook, worth $4.38. The next book, also a cookbook, but I didn't realize that at first. This is Palm Springs, and it says it's Palm Springs Flavors. And I saw Palm Springs. I couldn't really read flavors. I saw the chairs in the pool, and I thought, oh, this is a book about Palm Springs. It's like a coffee table book. But no, it is a cookbook, and it is worth $13.91 profit. So you've got different dishes. It's sort of like a little coffee table cookbook, so to speak, but it does have value, $13.91. So a couple of cookbooks for you. Old auto repair books. This is a Ford Pinto and Mercury Bobcat. 2 cars that I could probably go a whole month and not see either one. This one is worth $15.04. All these Haynes automotive books, they're the Bible. They have schematics and parts. And if you do any kind of wrenching, as they say, any kind of self-repair mechanic work, this is kind of the standard of the industry, the Haynes books. So this one is worth $15.04 of profit. And then the next book we have an aircraft book. I did a series probably a few episodes back where I got a lot of airplane books. This one's left over. This one's final cut. It's worth $10.88. Post-war B-17 Flying Fortress and Survivors. Pretty thick book. Originally worth $24.95. Its value is $10.88. And then, so I've gone over 5 books. I do media, so I do books, I'll do CDs and DVDs, and I've got a couple of DVDs. And if you can get ungated in DVDs, I highly suggest you do it. Most people go through Christian book distributor, CBD.com. I did that, but I found out that I was ungated anyway. Ungated means, if you're gated, means you can't sell in a particular category. So when you're first starting out selling on Amazon, like you can't sell Nike and Adidas and certain toys. If you've been selling for a while, and you can go through a distributor and get at least 10 copies of a certain item, then sometimes you can get ungated to sell that item or that category in Amazon. And I had like 51, 52 reviews, and I think that was enough to get me ungated in DVDs, CDs. So I can now sell these. And I wanted to go over some of the stuff that sells, because I get a lot of DVDs. I'm selling some on eBay. I'm selling like 100 plus for like $40. But the older DVDs, like Robin Hood here, this one's worth $3.08. This has sold 151 copies in the last 26 weeks. So it's selling about 5 a week. And I went to good old Chico State, California State University, Chico, and they have what they call Pioneer Week. And this movie, Robin Hood with Errol Flynn, was shot in Bidwell Park in Chico. And I think that's probably one of the only, not one of the only, but one of the few movies to be shot in Chico. So anything that's kind of older, the older black and white movies, I remember I sold a copy of Black Like Me a few weeks back too. Anything older, anything 30s, 40s, 50s. This movie, I think it says 38. The older movies tend to have more staying power. So, you know, the newer movies like, you know, Harry Potter, Mission Impossible, Fast and the Furious, those generally aren't going to be worth anything because they're mass produced, they've been out. The older movies, stuff that you would see on TNT or, you know, Turner Classics, those tend to have some value. So Robin Hood, worth $3.08. Another video is we have Eero Saarinen. I have no idea. The architect who saw the future. So he's a famous architect. See him on the back. This is worth $5.98. This is a PBS DVD. Sometimes PBS, BBC, National Geographic. Acorn TV is like PBS of Australia, and pretty much everything that they put out is worth something because they're not really released too much over here in the US. So people from Australia usually have to order all the way back from Australia to get that. If you can find the copies here, they will have some value. So there you have it. 7 items, 6 of which have value, 1 doesn't. Leave a comment if there's something you want me to talk about as far as bathroom books go, or something about Amazon FBA, let me know. Have great holidays, and I will see you next week. Thanks.